A Super Dave is an Olympic aficionado. He has gone to the Olympics. He was in the Rio Olympics in Brazil and called into my show those 2 weeks live on the show, which was amazing. And I know that he's been locked into the Paris games. And Super Dave joins us this evening here on the show. Super Dave, how we doing?
I'm great, DA. How are you?
I'm doing good. I thought that these Olympics had a really positive vibe, and it seemed like people across social media were really into it. And callers that I had, listeners that I had on the radio show were really into it. And I know we had a lot of comments here on Watch GA Live. Did you feel like this was a special set of Summer Olympics?
I thought it was great. I think every Olympics is great. So much of it depends on, do you get hooked early? Is there something compelling? Is there something that you gravitate towards? Is there a story? Is there an athlete? Because once you get in for the first few days, then you can really kind of just lock into it for the entire time. And a couple of things took place this year, DA. As you know, I'm a longtime Oakland A's fan, and I've stopped watching baseball. So I was really into the trials. So I got into it a couple months ago, but I think a lot of people loved the opening ceremonies because it was on the Seine River. It was cool. It was unique. And then the gold zone was really something different that I think sucked in a lot of people.
When it comes to the men's basketball team, they had a couple of too close for comfort games in the tune-outs, but those didn't matter. Ultimately, they win the gold. They do not lose a game. But there seemed to be a lot of, criticism, critique about it. Ultimately, do you think that U.S. fans should be excited, enthused, thrilled, or was there something that was a little bit less than that you noticed?
I mean, the goal is to win, and they won, and they did so in really fun, spirited, exciting sort of way. So, I mean, critique as you would like, but it's not 1992. The rest of the world's got really good basketball. I mean, to say that, they beat a bunch of NBA backups, the French team that we just saw in the Olympics, if they're not the favorite to win it 4 years from now, then they're going to be, a 3 or a 5 or an 8-point underdog to the Americans. These are really good teams around the world. These are the best players in the world. And the United States has a great number of them. But look at the best players for the U.S. 39-year-old LeBron James, 36-year-old Steph Curry, 35-year-old Kevin Durant. The young talent is global, DA.
Did you think that Steve Kerr made a mistake in his utilization of Jayson Tatum?
I mean, you play the players that help you win. And while Jayson Tatum is surely one of the 8 or 10 or 12 best players in the United States, when you have a lineup with Curry and LeBron and KD, the other players on the court need to play very specific roles, as in Devin Booker essentially played the Klay Thompson role. You don't need the ball in your hands, but if it comes to you, you better throw it in the basket, and then plays really, really top-end defense. And Joel Embiid played that rim protector, guy that can get you a bucket inside. Anthony Davis did the same thing. I think Jayson Tatum was a victim of roster, not how good he is or how good the other guys are. How many guys do you need on the same team that have to have the ball in their hands, right? The Timberwolves have one of the 5 or 6 best players in the NBA, and he played a cameo role because he's a great player, but he has to have the ball in his hands. There's no ball for him with Curry and Kevin Durant and LeBron and several others out there.
Well, Tatum's mom, amongst others, thought that Kerr specifically embarrassed Jayson Tatum. Like, he couldn't even find him 5 minutes in a game in some games that were blowouts. So do you think that there's something there that, I don't know, that Steve Kerr could have tried a little bit harder just to at least not make him a coach's did not play?
Well, what's Steve Kerr's job? Is it to put the best lineup on the floor and win the game? Or is it to make sure people don't feel bad about themselves or have their ego or Steve Kerr knows a lot about basketball. He's won a lot of championships as a player and as a coach. Sometimes you have to make hard decisions. I think he made hard decisions this last NBA season with a pretty so-so middling Warriors team. Sometimes Klay Thompson wasn't starting. Maybe that led to Klay Thompson's departure, but his goal as the coach is to win the game. And it's not just Steve Kerr. If Eric Spoelstra said, I really think you need to make a change, he would have made a change. He has an unbelievable staff. They went with the lineup that they thought would win. Oh, by the way, they won. If they had lost, you could have criticized them.
What about the women? Nobody expected them to be locked in such a close game earlier today and win by just a point. Again, should American fans be excited or just relieved that they didn't lose?
Well, what is the goal? So if the goal is to win, fine. If the goal is to blow people out, you didn't accomplish that. I think there's a bigger statement here. Women's basketball, which is having a moment and has for the last couple of years with Caitlin Clark at the college level, is getting better. Again, go back to 92, the Dream Team. It made the rest of the world want to compete at the highest level. The dominance the U.S. women's team is having is creating a scenario where people around the world are becoming more interested in the sport. They want to be more competitive in the sport. They're putting more resources into it. Should they have won by more today? Probably so. But again, it doesn't matter. It wasn't this huge upset and they lost and they're licking their wounds. They actually won. It's not the 4x100 men's relay team that can't hold on to the baton. This is a team that won a gold medal.
Breakdancing, success or failure?
I mean, the Olympics have had bizarre sports forever. There was solo synchronized swimming. I mean, for like 35 years, art was an Olympic sport. You could win a gold medal in literature or architecture or dance. So, I mean, I think they once had like a plunge, like you fell into the water, into the lake. That was an Olympic sport. There was obstacle swimming at one point in time. It's harmless. It's fun. Is it a sporting event? I don't know, but who is bothered by it? Somebody that just wakes up and wants to be angry.
Wait, are you serious that art was an Olympic sport? What, way back in like the pre-modern Olympics or in the modern Olympics?
I think it started sometime around 1900, 1912, something
Wow.
like that. It went through like the middle of the century.
Really? That recently art was part of the Olympics?
Right. Exactly. I mean, like, well, even things like the biathlon, which people have joked about for years and years, like, it's silly. It's cross-country skiing and shooting. But, I mean, well, what's the harm in it? It's fun.
What was your favorite moment, event, athlete of the Olympics?
Well, you know, I think the Olympics are best not with basketball where we've got an NBA. It's the events that don't have that kind of pedestal. So Leon Marchand, the Frenchman who won 4 gold medals, who's kind of the new Michael Phelps, was spectacular at the beginning of the Olympics. I just enjoyed so much the women's archery, DA. South Korea looking for their 10th consecutive gold medal. They were facing China in the championship. It went to a shootout. Each of the 3 competitors on each team shoot, and it ended 27-27. So how do you break the tie? Well, the way you would break the tie would be who was closest to the exact middle, but they had to go to a magnifying glass, and they found that 2 of South Korea's 9s actually bordered on 10s, and that's how they won their 10th consecutive gold medal.
Are you serious? See, this is why we have Super Dave on the show, is because who else is going to break down women's archery? But so were you watching this live?
Yeah, I mean, like, not on purpose, didn't seek it out, but I watch the Olympics a lot, and if there's a gold medal on the line and it's cool and it's fun, I'm going to turn it on. I mean, handball's awesome, rugby's awesome. How about Novak Djokovic beating Alcaraz at Roland Garros? I mean, if it's on, I'm going to watch it, and that was just such a cool moment.
That's amazing. I love that you saw that. What do you think the biggest reason is that these have been considered, I mean, a really popular summer games? What was different about this one?
Well, it's where they were played. It was TV times. So the last 3 Olympics were in Beijing and South Korea and all in Asia. And because of that, the COVID Olympics, of course, you don't get live events in America when people are going to be watching them. So you get kind of the Rio-like feel of this. I think Rio was 1 hour different than New York, something along those lines. LA is going to be huge. I think the Olympics are always going to be huge, particularly because this summer tends to be a lull. There's no NFL going on. The NBA is over with. It's the middle of baseball season. I think the Olympics are captivating, but if America is asleep when it's going on, it's tough. So I think the next 4 or 5 Olympics are like Milan, LA, the French Alps, Salt Lake City, and Brisbane. Only Brisbane is going to cause a real time problem.
How about the Turkish sharpshooter that didn't need goggles, didn't need the ear protection, and just went up there and crushed it? That guy was amazing.
Gotta love somebody that shows confidence, right? He knew he was the best, woke up 20 minutes earlier, started firing. Gotta love it. You had the picture there of Simone Biles. How about she's the oldest American gymnast in over 50 years?
Wow, is that right? And how old is she?
27.
Oh my goodness. Hey, we had one of our D-aliens ask in the chat about the 2 globes. Tell us why you have 2 globes in your office.
Well, I like to cross the world. My wife and I do a ton of travel. In fact, I woke up this morning in Edinburgh, Scotland, and now I'm on with you. So we travel a lot and we try to see cool things and go to cool events. And yeah, the globe is important. And I think it fits with the Olympics pretty well.
It definitely does. You were in Scotland this morning?
Uh-huh.
Wow. I did not know that. Wow, you are really grinding for us. What were you doing in Scotland this morning?
We were there for like 3 days because we had the opportunity to. And when you get to go see cool things, interact with cool people and eat food and kind of be in on someone else's culture, even for a short period of time, you should take those opportunities. You don't know what tomorrow is going to hold.
Wow. How did you like Scotland?
It was awesome. It was terrific, as most of the world is. And again, I'm really, really fortunate to travel frequently and broadly. But if you have an opportunity to see different places, you should take that. Whether that's a new state or a new city or a cool new campground or wherever you can get to, you should go. We're citizens of the world.
I know that, you're rocking that A's t-shirt, and all the A's fans that are watching right now appreciate that. And my man Brian over Last Dive Bar appreciates that as well. But you said off the top of this that now that the A's are leaving, you are out on the A's. You have completely crossed them off your list, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, Bill King was my idol, the longtime voice of the A's. The last baseball game I attended was the protest game at Coliseum, and I plan on going to no more. Rob Manfred killed me on that one, and while we can point our finger at A's ownership and management, and they completely deserve that, Rob Manfred, in my opinion, he said it was okay. He didn't impose an enormous relocation fee on John Fisher. He let the narrative be that it was Oakland's fault. That's just completely inaccurate. Oakland has amazing fans. The A's have an incredible history, and Rob Manfred decided he was tired of dealing with a quote-unquote problem. There's no problem. There are 50 people in the Bay Area that would buy the A's and build them a new ballpark tomorrow. But John Fisher and Rob Manfred decided that they want a team in a small market that's not going to sell any tickets anyway. So they can have the A's and they can have their history, but we'll always have the great A's of Vida Blue and of Ricky Henderson and Dave Henderson, and the A's fan base is not going anywhere.
Let me ask you, do you hold out hope, or have you just watched the ship sail that maybe things in Vegas get so wonky or sideways that they ultimately do not leave for Las Vegas?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to Las Vegas. Sacramento, though, that could be a full-time home. I have sort of mixed feelings on that. I generally like Sacramento, but I think the way that it's taken place has been very wrong. I mean, the owner of the Kings wants a baseball team. He's buddies with John Fisher, giving him a rent-free out, a way to keep the money for being on TV in the Bay Area. So I'm kind of up in the air on that. But until John Fisher sells, the franchise is going to be a disaster. And, I guess to a degree, I wish them the best after John Fisher in the post haste of it. If they're in Sacramento with a new owner in 10 years, I don't know that I'll begrudge them, but I won't watch a baseball game until Rob Manfred's gone.
Well, Super Dave, you were amazing, as I knew that you would be, but boy, the comment section has just lit up. They love you. They appreciated your input. The A's fans are clapping loudly for your support of the team and blasting Rob Manfred and everything like that. So well done. And you are grinding for us today, having woken up in Scotland and ending up on Watch GA Live at night. So I appreciate that very much, my man.
Anytime, DA. It's great to join you. Have a great football season.
All right, buddy. Thanks. We'll catch up again. The great
take care.
Super Dave Friedman joining us here on the show. Awesome stuff.